Jason Rzucidlo reporting inside the Uptown Palladium 12 Theater in Birmingham, second annual Detroit Independent Film Festival. Coming up, we're going to be hearing from a panel of experts who are going to discuss the Michigan Film Incentive and also how to produce a movie right here in the state of Michigan.
I'll introduce my panelists from right to left. On the far right there is Warren Zide, and we're so lucky to have Warren with us today. Obviously, Warren is the producer of the American Pie movies, as well as the Final Destination movies, as well as Demoted. Carrie Jones, director of the Michigan Film Office for the last, since July 1st. Dale Johnson, involved with ITS Capital. And Chris Baum from Film Detroit. They can tell you a little bit more about themselves. And before I really start throwing some, or lobbing some pitches to these folks, if we could start off with Chris and tell a little bit in about a minute what you do and how you've been functioning in Michigan's film industry for the last several years.
Okay. Well, let's forget about that. I came to Michigan 5 years ago from New York. I was working at Condé Nast Publications. I came here as Senior Vice President of Sales Marketing for the Convention and Visitors Bureau. But we go after conventions and meetings and sporting events and tourism. And when I got here, our CEO told me that there was talk of an incentive being passed to lure the entertainment industry to Michigan. And if that in fact happened, he wanted us to be ready to aggressively market like we do for other segments. So I created something called Film Detroit. We took 2 full-time employees and put them against the film industry. And think of us as the guys who go to Hollywood and make the calls on studios and producers who attend the trade shows out there. We actually have a full-time Los Angeles manager right now in Hollywood who's originally from Michigan but has years of experience in film, entertaining and available every day to meet with producers and sell them the pitch on Michigan. So we're the guys who are out there in their face all the time trying to bring projects here and tear them away from the competition. And we sure hope that we can get resolved the current state of affairs because we want to bring more projects here. There's a lot of interest on the ground in Hollywood.
Thank you, Chris. Dale?
My name is Dale Johnson. I'm a managing partner for a company called ITS Capital. ITS Capital started out as a film financing company, specifically monetizing the tax credits with the main focus being here in Michigan. And we've since expanded our offering to become a one-stop shop for film financing, including providing debt and equity, and that's where our focus is right now. So our main focus and the type of product that we look at is product that has a focus on doing well internationally, and we really look at the international markets as one of the key areas that underwriting when we look at the value of each of the different territories to what we can lend against in the products that we are looking at lending to.
Carrie, how about you?
My name is Carrie Jones. I am the director of the Michigan Film Office. The Michigan Film Office has been around since the late 70s and have worked to attract and work with productions once they're here on the ground in Michigan. So, and then since the incentives passed in 2008, the Michigan Film Office has been the hub of all of the processing of the incentives. We administer the program jointly with the Department of Treasury, but we work with productions to help them process their incentives, find locations, find anything from elephants to Russian helicopters to anything that they might need while they're on the ground here in Michigan. And we partner with all of our regional offices, Oakland County, Film Detroit, and just to make sure that productions, once they're here, have a really great experience.
Thank you. Warren?
Cool. Yeah, I'm originally from Michigan, moved to California, became a producer, produced some comedies, some horror movies, Final Destinations, American Pies, and then I came here and shot Demoted, which is screening tonight, and High School, another movie. So I love coming to Michigan to shoot, so it's a great place. So that's why I'm here right now to help out any way I can.
Thank you, Warren. So in a typical film, we all know the first place it begins is with a script, and then it grows from there. And obviously, to have any successful project, you have to have a great script and a lot of other moving parts that have to come into place in order to get a movie made. How many of you out there are filmmakers or desire to be filmmakers? We have about 6 or 7 of you folks. governmental? Anybody in government out there who helps facilitate films coming to Michigan? See a couple. And the rest of you are just audience participants. There we go. Thank you. So we start off with a script. And is anybody a writer out there? Any writers? Okay, got some more writers out there too. So I guess the question I'll pose to the panel, and I'm going to ask you folks to answer this, I'll let you kind of just step up. I have a script. I wrote it. It's really good. I like it. My mom read it. She says it's really good. My dad did the same thing. What's my next step? Who can help me out on the panel as to...
He can. He's got the money.
He's got the money. But you're the development guy, right?
Yeah.
So maybe we'll start off with Warren. I have a great script. I send it to you. First of all, if I just send you my script, are you going to read it? And how do I get my script read? How do I get it covered? How do I get folks to have an interest in it? And where do I go from there?
Well, normally, with most script submissions in Hollywood, they don't accept unsolicited material, typically. That being that if you send something in, legally they can't look at it unless it's brought in from someone that you know. In this case, if somebody here, let's say, had a script, then you just send it to me and I read it. It's not a problem then. But normally you really have to go and find someone, a manager or an agent or someone you know, to actually get the script in the door to have someone read it. It's not as easy as just emailing it. So it's possible, it's not easy, but people do it all the time. I used to manage screenplay writers, so I know that there's a lot of ways to do it. It's not actually as hard as it seems. They just set up a wall to make it look that way. But I totally will, if anyone wants to send me a script, I totally look at it. Not a problem.
Warren, but how do you navigate that wall? Just to give these folks some information. They got some scripts out there. Other than sending it to you, which is really gracious of you, and I know you enjoy reading. But beyond that, if they want to get a script to somebody, whether it's a studio, an independent production company, if they don't know where to go, they don't know who are the attorneys, the agents, the managers. Typically, a lot of folks out there, unless you have a lot of money in your pocket, certainly one great way to go is have a lot of money, hire somebody, and get it done that way. But if you don't have that, and you're a guy who wrote your first script, what do you do? Specifically, what do you do, and how do you do it?
Well, specifically, it's very hard.
Okay.
But it can be done. And the way to do it is through utilizing things like the Hollywood Creative Directory, IMDb, and you can basically find management companies that will look at your material. And I say management companies versus agencies because management companies get involved with writers at a much more early level in their career, so they're more open to reading material. And you can literally search for management companies, like I said, on those couple of places, and call these people up. And I know that they accept submissions, more managers do, mostly. And what you sometimes have to do is send in a query letter, basically just telling the concept you want to read it. That's what happens a lot with me. I'll get emailed concepts and asked if I was interested in looking at the script. So that's the way to do it, because if you try to go right to the studios, no way. Or if you want to go, if you know a lawyer here, that sometimes can help. You can have the lawyer on your behalf call an agency or call a manager. That works. But to go to a studio on your own, it's rather near impossible to do. But the management route's the best way to go to get it read. And once you get it read, then they'll sit down and come up with a game plan for your future in whatever direction that you basically want to, however you want to move forward.
Okay, so I have my script. I've sent it off to John Doe Management. He likes it. He reads it, he likes it. At that point, I assume he sends it to folks like you, independent producers, studios. Where does he go with it? How do you navigate? I'm going to start off with you, then I'm going to track the script down until it's made into a movie here in Michigan. So I think that's, that is, and then we can ask a lot of questions about that. So I have my script. I'm a writer. I send it to you. I send it to my management company. They like it. They send it to you and others. What happens next? How is it determined? How do they determine if they like it or not? What can we help these folks who want to get their projects made to better those odds? Because I know personally that we get in, even here in S3 in Michigan, about several hundred scripts a year. And we don't take unsolicited scripts. And we'll pay attention to maybe 10 of those and then make maybe 3. So those aren't very good odds. And if we